All right, let's talk about something we've all experienced, that moment of sticker shock at the movie theater concession stand. We're going to dive into why that popcorn costs so much. And trust me, the answer isn't just simple greed. It's actually this incredible story about class, war, and some seriously clever psychology.
You know the feeling, right? You're buzzing, you're excited for the movie to start. You walk up to get some snacks, and then, boom. You see the price, and it just feels wrong.
You see a number like this for a snack that you know costs basically pennies to make, and it feels like more than just an overcharge. It feels like you're being taken for a ride.
And look, the easy answer, the one we all jump to, is that the theater's just being greedy. They've got you trapped in there, so of course they're going to gouge you. Makes sense, right?
Well, what if I told you that easy answer isn't the real one? The truth behind that price tag is this fascinating trip through American history, wrapped up in high society drama, wartime rationing, and an economic model that is, honestly, kind of brilliant.
So to really understand why we even have popcorn at the movies, we have to go back to a time when, believe it or not, food was absolutely forbidden.
See, back in the 1920s, the grand picture palaces were trying to be super high class. They weren't like the multiplexes we know today. They were designed to feel like you were at the opera. We're talking lush carpets, ushers in fancy uniforms, the whole deal. It was supposed to be serious, legitimate art.
And in an atmosphere like that, eating was a huge no-no. The noise, the mess, it was all seen as a threat to their sophisticated vibe. In fact, the thinking at the time was that having food in one of these places was, and I'm quoting here, as unthinkable as food in a church. But here's the key. That wasn't the only movie experience available. While those ornate picture palaces demanded quiet respect, theaters in working class and immigrant neighborhoods were the total opposite. They were lively, social places where talking, laughing, and, eating were all just part of the show.
So, this whole food ban, it wasn't really about keeping the carpets clean. It was deeply rooted in class anxiety. The owners of the picture palaces looked at the noisy, food-filled atmosphere of other cinemas and saw it as low class. They wanted to be as far away from that image as humanly possible.
So what changed? How did we get from a complete ban to popcorn being an absolute must-have? Well, it took a depression and a world war to totally flip the script.
So the change started slowly. In 1917, a new, compact popcorn machine made selling it indoors a real possibility. Then the Great Depression hit, and suddenly theaters were so desperate for money they embraced snacks just to stay afloat. But the real game changer was World War II. In 1942, the U.S. started rationing sugar. That meant candy and soda, which had been the mainstays at concession stands, basically vanished. But popcorn, it's a grain, it was grown domestically, and it was not rationed. It was cheap, easy to get, and incredibly profitable. Theaters pushed it hard, audiences loved it, and just like that, a national habit was born. And that habit, born out of wartime necessity, actually created the entire business model for modern theaters, a model that might seriously surprise you.
Okay, here's the part that most people just don't realize. When you buy a movie ticket, the theater itself keeps only a tiny, tiny fraction of that money. For a big blockbuster on opening weekend, the Hollywood studio can take as much as 90% of your ticket price. 90! And that reveals the central secret of the entire industry. Movie theaters are not really in the movie business. They are in the concession business. That huge blockbuster movie, that's just the bait to get you in the door so they can sell you that popcorn.
Economists have a name for this. It's called the razor and blades model. It's simple, really. You sell the main item, the razor, or in this case, the movie ticket, at a very low margin, sometimes even at a loss. Then you make all your profit on the high-margin stuff that goes with it, the razor blades or the popcorn.
Okay, so now we get why they need to sell expensive popcorn. But how do they get us to buy the biggest, most expensive one? That's where the psychology comes in. You've noticed this, right? There's a small, there's a medium, and then there's a large that seems like a massive bargain because it's only a little bit more than the medium. That is not an accident. It's a very carefully designed choice. This is a classic pricing trick called the decoy effect. Let's say a small is $7 and a large is $8. They'll stick a medium size right in the middle for like $7.50. Objectively, that medium is a terrible deal. And that is the entire point. That medium size exists for one reason and one reason only: to be a decoy.
It's designed to be such a bad option that when you compare it to the large, your brain immediately goes, wow, for just 50 cents more, I get all that extra popcorn. It shifts your thinking from, should I buy any, to which one is the better deal. And the decoy makes sure the large always wins.
So, that high price you pay for popcorn, it's not just some greedy impulse, it's the hidden economic engine of the entire theater. It's a business model that was forged by the Great Depression and World War II, with these crazy roots in the class anxieties of the Jazz Age. And the pricing itself is just a clever psychological nudge designed to make you choose their most profitable item.
Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. The next time you're standing at the concession stand, looking at that price, ask yourself, are you being ripped off for a snack? Or are you just paying the real price of admission to the movie?